Hello dear YouTube followers! Last week on Building Wilda, we shared our progress on sanding the interior of our sailboat, mainly inside the saloon, in the forward cabins and around the portholes. For many of the other areas, we were lucky to have them already faired by the previous owner. That doesn't mean that we don't still have much left to do, but it means that we appreciate what is already there. Now, because we enjoy that sanding so much, we continue this beautiful activity in today's episode. So, we are moving on, back into the cockpit for more sanding. Oh, of course you've seen us sanding that area before, but that was before the first coat of primer. So now we are going in round 2, with a finer paper, with more energy, and hopefully at a faster pace, and getting a nicer, finer surface as a result. Stay with us to see how this is going. After we took a close look at the entire cockpit surface, we identified a few areas with imperfections and pinholes that would need most of our attention in this round of sanding and fairing. The hearts were just my way of marking those zones where we need to fill in. Here we have our beautiful hearts.
So after copious amounts of fairing and sanding, and then you get to paint finally, primer, and then guess what? You're back to sanding, fairing, because the fairing compound. It doesn't matter here, I think, how careful you are putting it on. What you get is a million little pores, and maybe there are fairing compounds that have less of those and or more of those. I'm having trouble in some areas, not everywhere, and then you find, which is expected and something you want, you find areas you need to fill and areas that are too high. Something that is promising though is now you're sanding with 80 grit or 60 grit tops, away from the 40. So this is like detail sanding. It's just that the details are like boat size, which is a bit, yeah, it's tiring. But all of this sanding took a day, basically, for Rox and myself. So that's not too bad. Now what I'll do is I'll try and fill the bigger gaps with the 2-part epoxy filler, and I'm waiting for advice on what to do with all the pinholes. I'll try on some of them with this 2-part filler, but I have a feeling it's a bit thick, but we'll see. And then tomorrow, probably sanding again. Stuff is pretty soft, pretty sweet to work with. I've been asking around for good ways to do this, and what I'm really asking for is there a simple way to get this done in one go and easy and just takes a few hours? And the simple answer is no. There's nothing that can do that. Just isn't. So that's what I'm doing now. This blue stuff is an epoxy filler, mix 1-to-1 and put it on, and it blends really well. It sands off really well. It's a little bit difficult to get into the pinholes, so these are beautifully filled, but occasionally, like the air, I guess, inside the pinhole, or maybe some contaminant, some dust or something, stops the filler from getting in, or it rolls out and doesn't properly fill the pinhole. So I'll try also using a primer with a little bit of microspheres, Q cells in it. I'll try that out. That's a tip from the yard owner here. And I've already tried just using primer. That works, but it doesn't fill anything substantial. If you have a small like orange peel sort of effect on your surface, then yes, it'll fill that, but that's about it. And you can probably really see these, but what you probably can't see is that half of those are only half full of filler because it's so hard to get it in there. If I just go over everything once, I'll get everything pretty damn good. And then I'll do the next primer. The better I do this, the less work I'll have after the next coat of paint. But there's no magic way of doing this.
And we continued with sanding and filling of the many naughty little holes, so that Wilda eventually got the measles look.
I'm not a joyride, a hit and run. I thought I loved you and you thought I was fun. I'm moving on down the road. Watch me as I go, watch me as I go. Should I look both ways before you cross me, baby? 'Cause I don't break for boys. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Got nothing left to say. Let's be on my way. Best of luck. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I got a new love. He runs for miles. 67 fastback. Oh, it's just my style. We're headed down the road. Just enjoy the show. Watch me as I go. Should look both ways before you cross me, baby, 'cause I don't break for
Okay,
Not so bad.
so
So
do you have something to share with us?
I guess so. So yesterday we sanded down all the filling I had done the day before. So fair, paint, sand, fill, fair, sand, and then paint again, I guess. This is now ready for paint again with a few minor details here
That are
and
not
there.
visible on
No,
camera.
and mostly not in life.
Yes.
But the rest of it is smooth as a baby's butt.
Ooh.
No, it's beautiful. So all good for paint.
So when you say paint, it means we're gonna apply another coat of primer.
One more coat of primer,
Yes.
and then before top coat.
So we are looking for a primer that's a slightly different color than
Yes.
this beautiful pink orange.
Yes, for several reasons. So there's an advantage with two primers, because then you know how far you've sanded. So The pink is ugly enough for you to notice when you've sanded out through the next primer, which is going to be a light grey.
Yep.
And then we'll see
What other minor imperfections we can find, if there are still any.
in between layers.
Yeah.
Light sand after the next layer. Now we've used 120 grit, right? On almost everything, 80 and 120.
80 to begin with, and
Yeah.
then 120, yes.
And then on the next layer, it's probably going to be 120 to 240.
240, maybe, yeah.
And before top coat.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos and progress, please leave a comment, do hit the like button, subscribe and get notified on our new video next week.
Linda,